guys, welcome to another edition in the GT show. As always, Glenn Twiddle here to answer your questions. Now, this one's a bit of a strange one because I've gotten one particular question was sent to me, but I have gotten a lot of questions in this realm where the question that I was asked even just this morning, it wasn't a high level question. It was, you know what, it wasn't even a medium level question. It was the lowest level question possible. But I wanted to share with you a little bit of my thoughts around that. And when I say that, it was a question about how to fill out the paperwork correctly. Now, here's my first thing. You need to do the paperwork correctly, period, right? You can't just willy-nilly throw out paperwork that's rubbish. But that's not what you ask. If you've got someone that you know is a marketing expert, don't ask them about stuff that you should have found out at your REIQ course, right? Now, in Queensland, of course, it's REIQ in your city. Whoever it was that gave you your license. You know, because if you've got my ear enough to ask it about my expertise, which is how to get you to number one in your area, how to get called in more often, how to position you as a rock star superstar in your area. Don't ask me how to fill in the paperwork. And the other thing is, if you're even focused for any period of time, like if there's hours and hours of your time, and because I tell you, there would have been a half an hour of backwards and forwardsing on Facebook between myself and this young man who's trying to do his best. It's just that he's asking the question, and then when I gave him an answer that he didn't like, in that I didn't answer his question, I said, the real answer isn't that. Go figure that out somewhere else. If you're still asking this question, it means you're not busy enough. It means you're not doing some of the things that I know that my team, that myself, that other mentors and other experts, you've been asking so much and you can't have been following the right instructions. So you're either not doing what they said or you're not doing it right because you've got time to even worry about having the attention to detail to get your paperwork correct. Now, please, this is not saying get the paperwork wrong. This is kind of what I said to our young friend, is I said, getting the paperwork correct is like you're a basketballer and you're going to go out and buy a ball, right? Or a footballer, state of origin, whatever, right? The going out and getting the ball. Now, you can have the best basketball in the world, and if you just own the ball and own a pair of basketball shoes, whether you play for free in your A-League, whether you pay to play, in fact, with your kids on the weekend by hiring a court, or whether you become Michael Jordan and play at the highest level, that's up to you. But just having the paperwork correct, just having the license and all that, is like owning a basketball. It means literally nothing because everyone passes that course. Right? Everyone in this industry. You cannot fail the real estate licensing course. So yes, for goodness sake, your ball has to be pumped up. Your ball has to bounce, right? I get all that. It is important because without a bouncing ball, you lose, right? You do not even play. But understand that if you're focused and if you're going to ask some of the industry's highest mentors, and I'm not saying I'm highest, but in my area of expertise, there's very few that can touch me in getting you to be number one in your area by a country mile, get called in 20 to 30 times per month with people saying, g'day Mark, when can you pop around, come and sell my house, right? There's very few that are in my position. So the last thing you want to do is ask a low-level question unless it's about my particular area of expertise. Like when I'm this weight, don't ask me how to lose weight, right? Understand, ask Clinton not how to lose weight because he's ripped, right? So don't ask a sales or a marketing coach who can't sell or market themselves how to sell or market, right? Understand that you want to go to people whose area of expertise you can see that they actually do it. And so, but the other thing is that please, if you're focused even on that, actually here's the next thing. Other than that, right? So you get that, I hope you're cool on that, is when you've got someone's attention who other people pay thousands of dollars an hour for, you should thank your lucky stars. And I'm not saying this isn't about me. This is about when I ask my mentors as well. Because you guys know that when you get to me, I'm just you know what I mean? I'm just a guy who learnt these principles and I applied them and I listened to my mentors. I think that's one of my greatest skills is when my mentors gave me some advice, I didn't second guess them. I didn't try to think I was clever than them. Now, I'm not saying the young man who I'm talking about today did, but what I am saying is I did what I was told. I was dumb enough. Actually, you know what? I was smart enough to be dumb enough to know that that person is where I want to be. Whatever they say, despite my not really liking the advice that I might be given, I'm just going to do it. When my first mentor handed me a copy of The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz, I thought, Jesus, this is what Amway people read, and I don't want to be an Amway person because I've known in the past people who'd been in Amway tried to recruit me. They'd given me copies of this book multiple times, so I knew it must have been on the Amway required reading list. So when my first mentor gave me a copy of that book, believe me, I rolled my eyes. But I was smart enough to be dumb enough to just say, no, I'm going to take whatever I think I know. And if that person who's giving me advice is further along this path of success than I am, my opinion does not count. Does that make sense? When Richard Branson gives me some advice, despite what I think I know, my opinion does not count. Especially when I go and ask for some advice. Guys, please don't be one of those guys that asks for advice and all you're really wanting is, please tell me what I want to hear, Mr. Mentor. Right? There are a lot of people out there like that they ask for advice and they don't even want the advice. They just want you to say, you know what you were going to do anyway? Yeah, go do that. You're right. It's almost like they just want reassurance from someone that what they were going to do anyway is right. So if you're going to be like that, then don't ask. Just go do it. Go prove us all wrong. And that is absolutely fine because frankly, I did a bit of that as well. But if you're going to pay for a mentor's advice, or heaven forbid, if that mentor is going to give you some advice and not charge you for it, then you better put your own preconceptions about what's right and wrong aside and just do what they say, right? Just do it. Don't try and argue about why your position, why it's right. Forget the argument because we aren't in a position that we're not trying to convince you of anything. You asked us, you know? So that's all I'm saying for today. Just a little rant about how to be coached, how to be mentored, and it was not entirely, but it was inspired by a question that I got today about the wrong thing, I suppose, but it did lead to, I've seen this a lot of times when people ask me for advice, and it seems like unless I charge them a fortune, then they'll want to find a way to, if it was anything other than what they were going to do anyway, then they'll put up a fight as to why it shouldn't be done that way. I'm saying, well, why ask in the first place? So, it probably would have been me doing this person and others who have asked me for advice a service by me charging them. And I didn't because, I just want to help. But it's almost like unless I charged them, they're going to just do what they were going to do anyway. And they're probably going to be mad at me. Like the dude who's I'm talking about in some way inspired this video is probably sitting there watching this pissed at me, right? Because heaven forbid, I'm using this as an example. And when I gave him the advice, I could tell in the responses on Facebook that he was mad at me for what I said. Guys, all I'm saying is if you ask someone for advice, please, I've heard the term, and this is not the term I'm going to use about our young friend here from this morning, but I've heard the term askhole, right? That's someone who asks and isn't really interested in the answer. They just want to be told what they want to hear. So guys, whatever it is, don't be an asshole. You know that we're here to help. And I tell you, my answer this morning was with all the love in the world, because I love nothing more than when someone is struggling with, even something like paperwork, and I can take their mind to a whole new level. They're the guys that are speaking on my stages now, that are sharing time, I'm about to go to not Richard Branson, actually sometime this year we're supposed to be going to Necker Island to hang out with Richard Branson, but in June we're booked in to go back to Arnold Schwarzenegger's house, hang out at his house. I'm taking 4 clients of mine to go hang out at Arnold Schwarzenegger's house. Those are the people who weren't assholes. They asked me for my advice, and then they went and did exactly what I said. So there it is. A little bit of a harsh episode of the GT show today. I'm sorry, guys. Inspired by some events this morning. Hope that was an interesting episode. How to be mentored, how to be coached. Do what you're told, or don't pay a mentor who doesn't deserve to be, you know what I'm saying? So let's summarize this. Pay mentors who are qualified to teach. So look at my weight. I don't know, you can't quite see. Do not come to me for personal training advice, for health and weight loss advice, right? Don't come to me for that. Right? The day I try and run a time management seminar, run. The day I run a well-being wellness seminar, you run, right? So, I remember I saw a coach on sales and marketing running I think it was a $50 day for a full day with him, and he had 1 person registered. 1, right? and he's wanting to teach you how to sell and market yourself. I think he should do his own seminar and learn how to sell and market himself, because he only had one person in the room. So there's the first thing. Learn from people who are qualified to teach. So for the health and fitness industry, you go to Clinton Knott. Have a look at him. Google him. Knop, Clinton from down in Bunbury. Ripped, right? Real estate agent. He comes to me for real estate marketing advice, and I go to him for losing weight advice. And I need to not be an asshole. When I ask him for advice, if he tells me what to do and I don't do it, I deserve a smack across the head. So there's the two things. Go to mentors who are qualified to teach you, and do what they say if they're further along in the success field that you would like to be. Do what they say until you are qualified, until you're kicking their butt, and only then are you right and they're wrong. So, and don't argue with mentors. I mean, sure, you know, if you've got a point to make, and they actually, you know, I suppose, you see, as I said that, don't argue with mentors. I'd probably even take that back. Argue all you want, but when you're asking for free advice and you're given it, maybe don't get into an argument about whether that free advice is valid or not. But sure, when you're paying a mentor and that mentor says something that you think is flat out wrong, feel free to debate, because that's when you're paying for an opinion. You know what I mean? But when it's a freebie, my recommendation is ixnay on the askhole thing. So, all right, guys, that's enough for Glenn Twiddle. Enough of my raving. I'm going to stay out of the negativity now. Get back to positive. We'll see you guys next time on the GT Show. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.